10 seconds. Stand by. And they are off, ladies and gentlemen. This is heat number 1, event number 5, day 3. Is event presented by Fit Gonna cover it for you as our athletes jump up that rope and make their first climbs. As pairs, it's gonna start with our female athletes. Ladies first, 20 rope climbs. As a pair, a 40-calorie row each, and then 60 snatches as a pair at 95, 17-minute time gap, but that's just the first half because the guys dive in for the same movements, 20 rope climbs, 40-calorie row each, and 60 snatches at 135. Again, the rope climbs and snatches are done as a pair. And remember, this is workout number 5 of the weekend and their first workout of the day. One more to go to decide who's going where and what the overall standings are. This is heat number 1 of 3. Again, while these rope climbs are not legless, the first portion of it virtually has to be due to the size of the rope. They're forced to jump and climb legless the first few feet until they get high enough to get the legs involved, if they wish, or they can go totally legless. Great job by all of our athletes. No problems thus far. 20 rope climbs. They can break it up however they like. It's as a pair, 10 apiece. Whatever works best for them.
Good.
2 minutes and 20 seconds in. And folks, if you're just tuning in at home, welcome to the Central Regional here in Nashville, Tennessee. We are coming at you, the Music City Center. Neck deep in our first heat of competition on this beautiful Sunday morning. This is event number 5, brought to you by Fit And we're approaching the 3-minute mark of a 17-minute time gap. Our athletes, as a pair, completing 20 rope climbs. See a hand in the air for CrossFit Omaha. And folks, if you were watching from home, that's going to be in lane number 4. That indicates they are down to their last few reps on the rope climbs. Good shot on the Jumbotron there, CrossFit Omaha in gold and black. Also CrossFit 540 in lane number 2. Hand in the air from their judge as well, along with Joko CrossFit. So our athletes as a whole reaching the end of the line on the rope climbs, not the end of the line on the workout. Or on the event, rather. Lots of work left to be done. Coming about 4 minutes on our time clock. And here comes Omaha. CrossFit Omaha, the first to get to the rowers. 40-calorie row for each of the athletes. They don't get to share this. They're each doing that full 40-calorie workload. 540 right behind them. Your 1 and 2 going Omaha. 1 in lane number 4, down in lane number 2, CrossFit 540, and then Joko CrossFit rounding out your 1, 2, and 3. Easy to discern as you're looking from the crowd. Omaha in yellow. Black tanks for the ladies from 540 and white for our athletes from Joko CrossFit. Omaha in the lead, going into the rowers. Dakota CrossFit Norman in orange. Next on the row, rounding out your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be 913 in blue. 80-85 on to the rowers at 5 minutes. Minutes and 30 seconds in. 17-minute time gap in place. The fellas back on the starting mats, getting warmed up, trying to stay loose. They are up next. They're going to repeat the exact same 3 movements, 20 rope climbs, a 40-calorie row each, and they will share also 60 snatches. The snatches coming up next for our athletes, the next element in this event. And in the air for CrossFit T-Town at the rope climbs, fighting to get a foothold on that rope. And there she goes, she's able to get it. And T-Town will touch up another rope climb. CrossFit Lee Summit all the way out, hand in the air. Over at lane number 4, CrossFit Omaha. They were your first pair to get to the rowers. Looking to be the first pair to get to the snatches. But Joko CrossFit 540 also nearing the end of the line. T-Town on track and Lee Summit now onto the row at the 7-minute mark. Omaha, the first off the rowers and the first to score a rep on the snatches. And these are broken down into 10 rep sections, 60 total. They'll move forward each 10. 540 and Joko CrossFit also onto the barbell. 7 minutes and 30 seconds. 95 pounds, the weight for the ladies. Omaha in the lead, 540, and Joko virtually tied rep for second in the heat thus far. CrossFit Omaha keeping the pressure up. Setting a pretty solid pace for the remainder of the teams out there. Good Jumbotron shot of the CrossFit Omaha athletes splitting up there for a second with Stacy Tovar, longtime CrossFit Games athlete in attendance, the coach, one of the coaches for the CrossFit Omaha team. Coming up on 9 minutes. Joko CrossFit moving into second. It'll be 540 at 80-85. Tied it up for third. Coming up on the 9:30 mark. 17-minute time cap in place on this event. Still 2 heats of competition to go. Joko CrossFit putting themselves solidly in second. 540, only about a rep behind. $10:15 on the time block. And Omaha pushing forward into the last block. That means there's 10 reps to go for our Omaha squad in yellow. .540 pushing ahead now into second. With Joko CrossFit just a rep or two behind, hand in the air for Omaha. The fellas ready to go back at the starting block. Waiting for their partners to finish up. And that would be the last rep, and Omaha will tag out at 11:01, putting the fellas to work on the rope climbs. The ladies from Omaha doing a great job establishing the lead for their squad. 540 now putting themselves in second, with Joko CrossFit a very close third. Coming about 12 minutes on our time clock. Our leading three teams now passing the baton to the guys. 80-85, touching up, and they'll put their boys to work.
Even if I roll a little slower,
Some of our fellas back there on the pads making short work of the rope climbs. 80-85. Knocking several out unbroken and totally legless. Coming about 13 minutes. One of our teams here will set the score or time to beat. Crossfit 913 moving forward, putting their guys to work. Hand in the air, back to the ropes for CrossFit Omaha, as well as Joko CrossFit. The ladies from Coda CrossFit Norman will tag out and put their guys to work. And here come the boys from Omaha, making their way out to the rowers. Again, each athlete responsible for a 40-calorie row on the concept tube. On track, stepping forward and hitting their chest piece, which will put the guys to work, as does CrossFit The Summit. Joko CrossFit with their guys off the rope and onto the rowers. .14:22 on the clock. CrossFit 540 making their way forward. Again, the guys from 540 on to the rowers. 14 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock. Rapidly approaching 15 minutes. Going to a 17-minute time cap in place. We have 2 minutes remaining. These fellas going to have to put the pedal to the metal to get into those snatches. There's a hand going over the air for CrossFit Omaha in the lead for the bulk of this event. And also in the air for Joko CrossFit, and it looks like it will be Joko CrossFit coming off just ahead of Omaha. Joko with about a 1 rep lead over Omaha. Coming about 16 minutes, getting a 17-minute time gap in place. These guys got a lot of work to do in our remaining time. 60 seconds, fellas, 60 seconds. Rep for rep, Joko and Omaha advancing forward to the next block. Omaha will now take about a 1 rep lead over Joko as they start this round of 10. Big cheering sections up in the crowd for these squads as we hit 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen in the crowd, if you got somebody on the floor you need to holler for, now is the time with 20 seconds to go. Let them hear you. The finish line in sight as we approach the 10-second mark. It is now Omaha ahead by a few reps. 10 seconds. Joko, we're going to close the distance. And we're going to wrap up our first heat in 3, 2, 1. And that's time. Time will expire with Omaha in the lead. I'll see if I can get a score.
Our next 10 challengers to take on that task are here in heat number 2, including a couple of teams that were here at regionals 1 year ago. CrossFit Hendersonville, the 12th place team last year, will be in lane number 17, but there is a team that made an absolute move on day number 2, and that's 8th Day Gym.
8th Day Gym started out with a little bit of a struggle on day 1 with a 29th and 21st, but day 2 was great for them with a 3rd and a 10th place.
Now, still mathematically eligible as every team, but somebody that's pretty close, just 54 points out of the top 5 is here in CrossFit Grandview.
Brandon, talk about consistent. They've gone 10th, 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 and 11th.
Heat 2 underway. The unofficial score to beat will be 26 of the 60 snatches completed on the men's side, that by CrossFit Omaha in heat number 1. But we got a long way till we get to that point.
Long way for sure, and with a 17-minute time cap and only a handful of teams around the world able to complete this, this is going to be a real struggle. The keys to this event, Brandon, are going to be speed on the rope climbs, trying to get through these efficiently, making sure that we pay attention to the markers. You'll see a line at the very top of the rope. The athletes have to keep their hands on that black line, below that black line before they're allowed to drop down. And then it's going to be power on the rower. You've got to get through the rower, get to that barbell.
Now, these ropes obviously don't have to be completed legless through the entirety, but you really got to get to about that 10 or 11-foot mark until you can actually use your feet.
And that's what we'll see. A handful of these athletes, they'll just go legless, really quick, arm over arm, up to a point where they can get their feet engaged, and then they'll lock their feet on. And some of the male athletes will just go up and down without ever using their feet at all.
Seeing majority of the teams, if not every team, just alternating reps on this rope climb.
You don't need to go rep for rep, but that seems to be the best strategy in pacing, because if you have a little bit of refresh time. So you go up to the top, you tag, you come down, you've got 10, 15, maybe even 20 seconds while your partner goes. That allows you to recover so that you avoid hitting that red line.
That was a lot of pulls to get to that point.
You'll see that legless strategy going up to a point where then she can lock in the feet and then make that second pull up and touch.
Now that was actually the lowest I've seen anybody actually try to go with that foot grip. We do have that stubbier rope, the short rope, and part of that is for safety. You don't have the rope hanging down on the ground when you drop down. Part of it's also for the added challenge.
It definitely is an added challenge because you don't have the rope to use with your legs. One of the things that we do in CrossFit and with any climbing on the rope is you want to lock it in with your feet. You can see she's trying to get her feet locked there. She's going to pull that foot and wrap the rope around from top to bottom, squeeze it in between the feet, and you can see if you don't get it quite right, that rope just slips and then you're stuck using only your hands.
We're also seeing a couple of different ways to get up there until you can lock your feet. Some people going with that huge hip swing, some going with almost like a bicycle kind of movement. What's the strategy behind both of those?
Whatever is the most efficient for each athlete, and they all have their own style. I've seen a handful of girls, and you can see on the left-hand side of your screen in lane 4, Stay Strong CrossFit, one of the things that she did, she brought her rear end way up and then crossed her legs like a scissor and squeezed her thighs on the rope. And that allows her to pinch in so she can raise those hands up right from the beginning.
Somebody was studying regionals last year, watching Katrin Davidsdottir, and also on the men's side, Brent Fikowski. That was a strategy they both used to get to an event record in a rope climb event. And first team to make their way from the rope will be in lane number 2. That is CrossFit Hendersonville, the 12th place finishers at regionals 1 year ago. They currently enter in 17th place. Lane number 4 also working on the row. That is Stay Strong CrossFit. Here's 8th Day Gym, perhaps the team with the most momentum out of anybody in the bottom 20 of the point standings. They were 27th after day number 1. They come into today 12th.
Well, that's why they call it moving day, Brandon. A lot of shifting around on the leaderboard on the individual side and the team side.
Still a few teams working on the final 5 reps. That does include Declaration CrossFit in lane number 3, CrossFit Grandview in lane number 5. As we near the 5-minute mark, and the issue here is that you're only 20 reps in. Once you clear this point, you still have to get through the row, you have to get through the snatches, and then the men's pair can make their way onto the floor. This is putting their teams into a huge deficit, as Stay Strong CrossFit, one of the teams that early on got to the rower on the female pairing.
You can see, Brandon, they're doing a really good job of making those pulls long and strong, and now we can see the screen. So we can see their elapsed time on top, and then we're looking at calories per hour. So that's giving you an indication of how much effort they're putting in on every single pull. And then below that, you can see their total calories. But the really important number that I like to look at is your strokes per minute. How many strokes per minute are you pulling? What's the speed and the tempo of and your cadence? Because the goal should be to try to burn as many calories per hour in the fewest amount of strokes per minute. Because if you blow yourself out, right now she's at 23 strokes per minute. If she's closer to 30, 35, 40, that's so much faster, and it just fatigues you that much quicker.
Now this is coming off of the rope climbs, which, granted, most of these teams, if not all the teams, are doing one at a time and then alternating the reps. But what does the rope climb do to you going onto the rower?
Well, it fries your biceps and your forearms. The rope climb it's designed to do that. It's an upper body pulling exercise, and then you get right on the rower. And what do you think is following that? It's the snatches. It's more pulling. So this is a forearm and bicep workout.
Oh, and there's a good look at what happens to your body in the first 2 movements, as it's a missed rep with a 95-pound bar. And this is basically double Isabel between 2 athletes. 60 power snatches at 95 pounds, Isabel being 30 at 95 pounds. And not much of an issue coming up for the rower here for Stay Strong, who slightly lost the lead to 8th Day Gym, but they're right back in front as they break off 5 reps in a row.
Now they've got to do 60 snatches, and they can partition these any way they want to. And what we're going to look for is touch and go reps. At this weight, most of these ladies should be able to come down to the floor, kiss the ground, come right back up, and catch it in that snatch position.
They will advance the bar every 10 repetitions. And a little curious here with 8th Day Gym, as one of their athletes struggling with that rep, with that weight, why are they still going touch and go at that point if there's that much of a struggle?
It's cycle time, Brandon. If you are dropping that bar at the top, every rep you have to settle the bar down. It just takes too long. And when we know that the ladies, in order for this event to have any possibility of being finished, the ladies need to be off the snatches and done with the event by about the 9.5 minute mark. And if you're doing singles, it's just not going to happen.
20 of the 60 reps complete for the leaders. Stay Strong CrossFit in the blue tank top, black pants, lane number 4. That top blue lane on your screen. 8th day gym in second in all black. And this is a long wait for the men on everybody's team. And there's a little added difficulty to this event if you're having to wait 10 minutes, because you think about it, you warm up maybe 10 minutes before you come out onto the floor because you have to be staged, and then you're waiting an extra 10 minutes when you're out there.
The likelihood is that those guys have been standing around now for almost 20 minutes. So it definitely plays a part, and you've got the nerves, and you know that you're basically batting cleanup. You need to get out there and get your work done quickly.
30 reps down, 30 reps remain for our leaders, which continue to be Stay Strong CrossFit. 8th day gym right behind them, only a rep separating them.
She's doing a really good job of pulling her head through. She yanks that bar up and then drops right into that overhead squat position. She lands in about a half squat and stands it up under those arms completely locked out. That's really what we're looking for.
So it's Stay Strong in first, 8th day in second. The early leaders, CrossFit Hendersonville, sitting in third, only a few reps behind, and this is about a home game for them, as Hendersonville not too far away from Nashville. And when you get a little home cooking, you get a good-sized crowd to cheer you on the final day of competition. Checking back in on our leaders. Definitely not a home game for the team out of Troy, Michigan. Stay Strong CrossFit. Having to come a long way to get here in Nashville. They lead the way starting day number 3 here in this heat. So their final 10 reps will start at the 9:30 mark. Our event leaders, CrossFit Omaha, they got through 26 of these 60 snatches on the men's side. They made the switch from female to male pair at 11 minutes and 1 second in heat number 1.
The male rope climbers on that team were so fast. They were actually doing doubles up and down instead of going rep to rep. And I think they were able to pick up some time there.
You got it, come on! Big ball!
With a bit of a split snatch there to finish this out. They'll make the touch on that chest piece at 10 minutes and 10 seconds. The male athletes for Stay Strong CrossFit now be let out of the gate onto the floor for the first time today. 12-second lead for Stay Strong over 8th day gym, and he's got shot out of a cannon coming up that rope.
You can see the different styles here on the rope climbs. You'll watch this gentleman right here go hand over hand, no legs at all. That's the quickest way up and down. It also burns out the biceps.
It's a 12-second interval first to second. That might not last a whole lot longer. Third place will be CrossFit Hendersonville. They'll be about 35 seconds behind the lead.
Brandon, one of those intangibles is that helps out on rope climbs is to be a taller athlete with a really good vertical leap, because you can chew up an extra foot potentially if you're 6'2", 6'3", and you can jump 24, 36 inches off the ground. Like Spencer Hendel, he can climb this thing with basically one pull. It's a jump and then a reach and pull.
There's a look at one pulling up.
And that's exactly what it should look like. You can't teach height, Brandon.
Heard. We get to about 5 minutes remaining towards our 17-minute time cap. The men's pairing on each of these teams trying to chase down Omaha, who set the unofficial score to beat in heat number 1, 26 of 60 reps complete on the snatches. 8th Day Gym, they were moving very quick early on, and they're into their final 5 reps already. They've only been attacking this for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Both 8th Day Gym and Stay Strong CrossFit in their final 5 reps. There's 12 seconds separating them. By the time they started the set of 20, this is good composure there to make sure he made that touch. Looked like he went for the reach and just came up in short.
He's come up short, and that could be a really costly mistake, but he caught it.
A no rep on a rope climb is a huge penalty, but no more rope climbs remain for Stay Strong. No more rope climbs remain for 8th Day, so a 12-second interval is down to about 5 seconds. First and second on your screen. Stay Strong on the left, 8th Day on the right. Final 5 reps for CrossFit Hendersonville. And this is tough. If you're on the rope climbs, you're a couple reps away. You see a few teams make their way to the rower. It almost feels like it's going to be hard to gain ground once you get to the row and power snatch portion of this event.
Yeah, definitely. If you, especially if some of those other athletes are taller, they probably move quicker on the rope climbs. They're taller. They're going to move faster on the row here. They're just going to separate themselves more and more.
It's about 1 minute behind for 3rd place Hendersonville as they get to the rower, as well out in front in this heat. Stay Strong CrossFit on the left, 8th Day Gym on the right. Only about 5 seconds separated them getting to the rower. 3 minutes until our 17-minute time cap here in heat number 2 of 3. As the men's pairings working on the middle portion of their relay. Again, it was 20 rope climbs, 40 calories on the rower each, and then 60 snatches for the men. That weight will be 135 pounds. Judge's hand already up for 8th Day Gym. Judge's hand already back down for Stay Strong CrossFit as they are off the rower. 1 minute 50 for each of them to go 40 calories. Looks like they can't even be bothered with this 135-pound bar.
That looks very efficient.
8th Day going to be 5 reps behind, make it 6 as they get to the barbell. 8th Day Gym in all black. In lane number 6, there'll be no shirts, and now on the left side of the screen for the leaders out of Stay Strong CrossFit. And both teams moving very quickly with this 135-pound bar. Keep in mind the bar will be advanced every 10 reps, so to give you a visual idea of where the leaders are compared to the rest of the field. Both leaders working towards rep number 20 of 60. And again, just 2 of 96 teams have beaten the time cap. That's not here, that's in the entire world of regionals thus far. In fact, the event record only beat the time cap by 13 seconds.
Now what I'm looking at here, Brandon, is with about 35 reps or so left, at the absolute best, I've seen people do Isabel. That's 30 power snatches for time. I've seen people do Isabel in about 56, 58 seconds. Dave Lipson did it in 56 seconds. So if you were to do it unbroken, fresh, in your home gym with nobody else touching the barbell, maybe there's a shot. But I think we're going to come down to just a couple reps left.
30 reps complete, 30 reps to go for Stay Strong CrossFit. That is important because the top score in heat number 1 was 26 of 60. So whoever wins this heat will be the event leader with 1 heat remaining. We're in our final 30 seconds. I believe That'll be 38, now 39 of the 60 reps complete for Stay Strong. There they go, advancing the bar overhead. They'll have 20 reps remaining, so the score to beat will be at least in the 40s. Final couple seconds, both teams passed rep number 40. I believe it's going to be 45 reps by Stay Strong CrossFit. That unofficially will be the score to beat with 1 heat remaining.
Good push! Stop! Yes!
That wound up being a pretty close heat, only about a rep or two separating Stay Strong and 8th Day, but I do believe, of course unofficial, as we don't have that score just yet, but Stay Strong should be the leaders after heat number 2, completing 45 of the 60 reps.
Ladies on the ropes did a great job getting up and down really, really efficiently. You could see them using their feet there from CrossFit Grandview. On the rowers, it was steady, start to finish, about 1,000 calories per hour if you were looking at that monitor. And then the power snatches, flawless execution. They're coming down, kissing the floor, throwing that bar overhead and catching it in that overhead position. And as we transition into the men were really, really quick up and down the ropes. Stay Strong CrossFit was able to come off the ropes at about, the males came off the ropes at about 12 minutes and 45 seconds. It was their men doing the power snatches, came up a couple reps short of finishing this event.
Stay Strong CrossFit just 15 reps shy of being the 3rd team in the world to complete this event with 1 heat remaining. But the bubble will be 2 Kilo teams surrounding that cut line, and for more on them, we go to Mike Arsenault.
Brandon, an hour and a half separates Kilo from Kilo 2 in Iowa, but only 1 spot and 18 points on the team leaderboard. I spoke to Armin McCormick this morning. He's the owner of Kilo, part owner of Kilo 2, and he's the programmer for both teams. And 7 of the team athletes are original Kilo members. He said today is difficult for him because picking who he wants to qualify is like picking his favorite child, but he expects Kilo to do better on Event 5 here because of their handstand prowess.
And away we go with heat number 3. 200 points still available for these teams. And for those surrounding that cut line, they might need all of them.
And the keys to this event, Brandon, we're looking for efficiency and speed on the rope, especially from the females, to try to get out of the way as quickly as possible. And then once you get on the rower, it's deliver the power. You want all the efficiency in the world to try to get on and off the rower, get through the snatches as quickly as possible.
Score to beat unofficially set in heat number 2. 45 of 60 snatches complete on the men's pairing. That by Stay Strong CrossFit in heat 2. Just like we've seen throughout this one, we're basically seeing rep for rep and alternating between these 2 athletes.
Yeah, the teams have a choice. They can partition these rope climbs any way they want to. So that if you had one person who's really, really good and fast up and down the rope, they could do multiple reps. But it seems to me, from watching most of the females, it makes more sense to go rep for rep. So 1-to-1 gives you a little bit of work and rest time, and you can manage the effort so that you avoid redline.
Now 2 Kilo teams surround the cut line in 5th and 6th, but also 18 points back. In 7th place is CrossFit Alpha Dog, a team that was here last year, but seeing a lot more success this time, and they're in the picture as well for those 5 qualifying spots.
Alphadog with 274 points right now.
Team out of Lombard, Illinois, trying to close the gap and make up some ground. They had a solid day number 2 with a 9th and a 6th. Trying to recover from a 15th place finish in event number 2. Judges' hand already up in lane number 3 for CrossFit Kilo, and this could be what they need to just push themselves away from the rest of the field when it comes to those 5 qualifying spots.
Well, just looking at the two ladies, one of them is really, really tall, and it looks like she's getting up that rope in 1.5 pulls, so she's barely setting herself. She comes up, a couple hand-over-hand pulls, wraps the feet, and then she's got one touch, and that is a huge advantage because it's a time saver over these reps.
Mayhem Freedom also with a judge's hand up, as is OC3 Black. So we've seen our top 3 teams already starting to make a move. And the first team to make the move to the rower is going to be the bubble team coming into today. CrossFit Kilo, first to the rower, 15 seconds quicker than the event record pace. Mayhem Freedom also faster than that pace, as is 417. They're onto the rowers as well, and we've got our top 4 teams now making their way to the rower quicker than the event record pace of 320. Top 5 teams in the point standings are your top 5 teams in the heat, led by the 5th place team, just 18 points clear of 6th, and it's CrossFit Kilo. Again, this is the second portion of the opening relay. It's the all-female pair working through 20 rope climbs together, 40 calories on the rower each. But what's awaiting them is basically double Isabel, 60 snatches at 95 pounds. They can break it up however they want. This is one of those interesting events where you basically have one pair of athletes just trying to get out of the way for the second pair that's still waiting.
It's that bottleneck effect, and you want your females, you hope that your females are equal in terms of skill, ability, and strength, and that they can get out of the way and clear the way for the guys to battle clean up.
That is a rough spot. If you're standing there just watching, you can't really communicate because of the distance. What are you doing throughout this time where you're waiting an extra 8-10 minutes?
I mean, I've been in that position before, and you can see Rich Broning kind of in the background bouncing. You just want to keep your nervous system switched on. You don't want to fade because you warmed up about 20 minutes ago. So there's definitely a factor that comes into play where you need to keep yourself amped up enough, but you also don't want to burn yourself out while you're just standing there.
Now, while the men wait, the ladies are racing for the lead. It's just past the 5-minute mark. Kilo leading the way, getting to the rower, and that is important because they were 18 points ahead of 6th and 7th. Kilo 2 and Alphadog, and if Kilo has a big event here, they might put this away going into the final event. They do have a judge's hand up indicating the final 5 calories on the rower. Kilo 2, they were the 7th team getting to the rower, and that is not what they need to be doing. They're going to try to make up ground on the row and the power snatches, but the problem for them is the first team to the barbell is the 5th place team, CrossFit Kilo. Mayhem Freedom in the blue pants, 2nd. OC3 Black in red pants, 3rd. And Mayhem Independence, 4th. So the teams that are in the top 5 are holding serve coming into this final portion of the opening relay. The athletes will move the bar forward every time they complete 10 reps to give you the visual indication of where the field is. OC3 Black, the #1 team in the world out of the open, 2nd place coming into today. They have been ultra impressive. It's just been a little less than what Mayhem Freedom has done this weekend.
Yeah, they've looked great all weekend long, really consistent and strong. They communicate really well, and we know that on these team events, it's so important to chat back and forth with your teammates so that there's no missteps anywhere.
Banner today 32 points behind Mayhem for the points lead. More importantly, 82 points ahead of 6th place. Speaking of Mayhem Freedom, it's a no rep there for Lindy Barber as she makes a switch to Tasia Persovitz. Tasia, the new addition to the team, former games competitor individually. Quick reps as Mayhem Freedom and OC3 Black try to close the gap on CrossFit Kilo, but Kilo, lane number 3 in the green shirts, continuing to lead the way by a couple of reps.
Kilo is really impressive, and hanging with these top teams, with this all-star cast. They look so strong, poised, and controlled.
They'll advance the bar into the final 20 reps. Those curious, the event record pace, 9 minutes and 6 seconds through the female pairing. That by Invictus Boston 1 week ago in the East Regional. And for an update on Kilo, let's go to Mike Arsenault.
Guys, as I mentioned off the top, their coach of Kilo, Armin McCormick, said that Kilo would be very strong on Event 5 here because of the rope climbing prowess of their women. We saw that exactly play out. They've been first since the start of the workout. Now they're trying to hang on as they head to the snatches. Then it'll be up to the men to continue to keep them at the top of this heat.
And that is the interesting part of this event, where your female pair can absolutely smoke it, but the guys could lose it late if they struggle. Final 10 reps for our 3 leaders. So we're at the 8:30 mark, still 30 seconds away from the event record pace. Final 5 reps for Mayhem Freedom as they've taken the lead. And their ladies will make the touch of the chest piece, and at 8:41, they send the men onto the rope climbs. Second team will be OC3 Black. And Kilo will make the touch at 9:01. The top 3 teams all under the event record pace. Freedom at 8:41, OC3 Black at 8:52, 9:01 the time for Kilo. That event record pace was 9:06 at the switch. And we're not seeing alternating reps here for the men of Mayhem Freedom, as Hewitt and Froning are taking 2 at a time. 2 at a time, going to be the same strategy for OC3 Black on the left. Center of the screen here on the right, Mayhem Freedom. On the left, OC3 Black, the top 2 teams after the switch.
And what I'm noticing is that they're doing these 2s, right? Instead of doing rep for rep, they're going 2s. And what I'm paying attention to is they do the first one legless because you're fresh. You can fly up the rope just like Hewitt did on the right-hand side of the screen. And then the second climb, you use your feet. So it allows you to remove one transition, and that saves you time.
CrossFit Kilo, 3rd place team on the left. And when Rich Froning goes up the rope, it's one of the more cool visuals in the sport is watching him come down the rope. It's almost like he's practiced and making a perfection out of descending down the rope, not just ascending.
You can see he gets into a little bit of an L position, squeezes the rope between the thighs and rides it straight down, and then settles it for his partner.
Final 5 reps for our lead 2 teams, Mayhem Freedom and OC3 Black. They have absolutely paced the field all weekend long. 10:46 through the rope climbs for Mayhem Freedom, nearly 45 seconds quicker than the event record pace. So 3rd place team, and this is a team that's got a lot of pressure on them today, is CrossFit Kilo, 5th place entering this event. As OC3 Black will be in 2nd, getting to the rower at 11:14. They're also 15 seconds ahead of the event record pace. New 3rd place team as we watch Kilo closing it out. That will be good for 4th, getting to the rower as Mayhem Independence. See them on the near side of the screen. They're already onto that rower. And 417 will be the 5th team, and guess what that means? Your top 5 in the point standings, top 5 in the heat.
You can see the athletes trying to get every inch of that pole as hard as they can go. Athlete to the far right for OC3 Black, just ripping on that handle.
There's a huge difference in the pacing between these 2 teams.
One of the things that I'm looking at, Brandon, is that calories per hour in the middle, 1,500 calories per hour. it's essentially, for most of these guys, it's going to be about a calorie per pull. So if you're looking at the bottom left number, 30 strokes per minute, you should be done with 40 cals in just a hair over a minute.
Mayhem Freedom continues to mash the gas at this point. They're now over a minute quicker than the event record pace as they get to the barbell for 60 snatches at 135. Score to beat is 45 out of 60. I'm thinking we're going to have our third team in the world beat the time cap here, and it's going to happen very shortly. OC3 Black making the transition to the bars, and somebody that's still trying to transition to the rower is Kilo 2, the team that needed to make up 18 points on their co-affiliate team, CrossFit Kilo, to move into the top 5. This is an event that they did not need. So while Kilo 2 working on the rope climbs, Kilo is going to be tied for third, making their way off the rower, as it's them and Mayhem Independence simultaneously leaving the rower and making their way to the bar.
Coming off the rower, it's so hard to grab that barbell and immediately pick up your tempo and your speed, but he's doing a great job pulling his head through and landing in that overhead squat.
Working towards rep number 30 for the leaders, Mayhem Freedom. They're in first, OC3 Black in second, tied for third, getting to the bars. Mayhem Independence, and we talked about Kilo and Kilo 2 racing to try to send 2 teams to the games. Mayhem Independence and Mayhem Freedom might be already beating them there.
They're just kind of hanging around, doing a great job staying in contention, close with the leaders. They're doing a great job today.
They try to chase down, just like everybody else in this heat, Mayhem Freedom, who's on to their final 20 reps. The event record, 16 minutes, 47 seconds. That's about to fall, and fall hard, to Mayhem Freedom. OC3 Black also well ahead of that event record pace as they sit in second. But we're 2 minutes away from the event record, and there's only about 12 reps remaining for Mayhem. Final 10 snatches. It'll be Hewitt starting. With 5 very fresh, very quick reps. He'll make the trade to Rich Froning. And the 4-time fittest man on earth will put the finishing touches on an ultra impressive event record. That's how you start day number 3. Mayhem Freedom, an event record by 1 minute and 20 seconds.
What a performance.
Almost been the story of the weekend of the team competition has been Mayhem Freedom has been amazing. OC3 Black has been great, but it almost doesn't seem like it because of what Mayhem Freedom's been doing. This will be a little under a minute quicker than the old event record, as OC3 Black trying to hold off Mayhem Independence. Only a couple of reps remain for them, and it looks like they will do just that. This will be good for second in the heat, second in the event. 16:07, 40 seconds quicker than what the event record was. Still 40 seconds behind Mayhem Freedom. Mayhem Independence in their final 5 reps. They are slightly ahead of Kilo in lane number 3. Give third place to Mayhem Independence, who are also ahead of the old event record. Kilo in 4:17. It's Kilo on the left getting a no rep. 4:17 on the right. This was a team that just wanted to get to the barbell with the strength capacity that they have, and it's going to be 4:17 edging out Kilo. Right in line with the old event record of 16:50. Kilo with a couple of reps remaining. And I believe they're going to be 1 rep short of completing this event. But it should be good for 5th for them, and that's what they need to be doing as the top 5 teams in this heat. And in the event will be the top 5 in the point standings. And how about this? In the world, coming into this heat, 2 teams were able to beat the time cap. Here in heat number 3, 4, led by Mayhem Freedom with that event record of 15:27.
What an amazing performance. we're looking at early, Barber on the rope climbs, so strong and steady. There was no missteps at all from the CrossFit Mayhem Freedom team. CrossFit Kilo was also strong with their taller female making it up and down the rope and just a pull. Snatches look great. Both teams really, really efficient, pulling themselves underneath the bar, making quick transitions, but it was right there that the females took over, and from that point forward, it was CrossFit Mayhem's Freedom's men just absolutely ripped this course apart. Their power snatches were flawless. It was an amazing performance from start to finish. CrossFit Mayhem Freedom.
Second, first, first. A near perfect stat line thus far with one event remaining for Mayhem Freedom, but the team that might be the big winner here is Kilo, and with them, we go to Mike Arsenault.
CrossFit Kilo, you did exactly what you needed to do here on event number 5, keeping yourselves in the top 5 and potentially qualifying for the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games with one event remaining. I spoke to your coach this morning and he said you were going to do very well on this event because of your rope climbing prowess. Why is that such an effective movement for you?
Tall girls are good at rope climbs. I don't know. It's like the only thing that we've got for the tall girls, rope climbs and rowing. But everyone else wants to go to the games, and so we're intense and we want to win.
So you warm up approximately 20 minutes before that event, but then you have to wait around 10 minutes in the warm-up area in the stall and then watch the women go out for around 10 minutes. So how do you stay warm and focused while you're waiting to compete there in event number 5?
Well, during warm-ups, we're just trying to get a sweat going, open up our lungs, and then use that way as kind of like a recovery period if you're ready for the event.
Event number 6 coming up, very team-focused. How would you describe the chemistry among the 4 of you?
It's great. I would have nothing bad to say about the chemistry we have going on. Everyone's a team player, and sorry, I can't think of words to say. Everyone's a team player, and we all want to work together and take this next event.
Thank you. We'll see you in event 6, CrossFit Kilo.
Thanks, Mike. As CrossFit Kilo came into this day 18 points clear of 6th, and they wind up in a solid position going into our final event. But again, 4 teams in heat number 4 able to beat the time cap, as it's Mayhem Freedom with that new event record of 15:27 with one final event coming up shortly, as that one will be next, and we'll punch our 5 tickets going to the games from our team competition.
Ten seconds. Stand by. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is event number 6, heat number 1, their final event of our Central Regional here at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. If you guys are just walking in or just tuning in at home, we appreciate you checking it out. And this is our event number 6, 144 handstand push-ups that is split up amongst the team. Then 140-foot worm lunge to cap it off, a 9-minute cap on this event. The event record set by Team Don't Stop at 5 minutes and 17 seconds. Our team cycling through. Our judges keeping a close eye, holding our athletes to the standard as we hit the 1-minute mark. 144 handstand push-ups. Again, you are dividing that up amongst the team. See one team member in a static handstand hold while the other executes the handstand push-ups. .145 elapsed on the clock. Our team's taking chunks out of this. Saw CrossFit Omaha in event number 5. Surging ahead early. We'll see if they can rally again here in event number 6. Two and a half minutes elapsed, getting 9-minute time cap on this event. No doubt we're going to see this come down to a lunging race with that worm. Keep your eye on the judges closest to your favorite team. You see that judge's hand go up in the air. That will indicate that our teams are down to their last few reps. And there we go, CrossFit T-Town, the first team moving all in green on the sprint. Joko CrossFit the next on the move. So it's T-Town 1, Joko 2. And Joko getting it moving quickly. CrossFit Omaha the next to get moving. Coming up on the 4-minute mark. Event record 5 minutes and 17 seconds. Either way, one of these teams will set the time to beat with 2 more heats of competition to come in event number 6 to wrap up our 3rd day of competition here at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Central Regional. 9:13 on the move. $80.85 and $5.40. Along with Coda CrossFit Norman. Heading down to pick up that worm, but right now it is all T-Town as we approach the 5-minute mark.
Down. One more. Down. Big one. Drop.
They will ground that worm, shake it out. Going on the 5-minute mark.
Unbroken. Come on.
Just passing 5 minutes and 20 seconds. T-Town making the return trip now.
Let's go. Let's go. Have fun.
T-Town establishes a solid lead.
We gotta go. Let's go. Come on, let's finish strong. Let's finish strong. Come on, let's go, baby.
Joko and CrossFit Lee
Let's
Summit.
go. Come on.
Duking it out for a second as we approach the 6-minute mark. T-Town on track to set the time to beat.
Right. Right. Left. Right.
T-Town will dump the worm and sprint to the finish, and they will have our top time here in heat number 1. T-Town setting the time to beat around the 6:27 mark. 6:24, the time for T-Town. The battle now for second between CrossFit Lee Summit and Joko CrossFit Lee Summit.
Left.
For about a 10-foot lead.
Right. Left. Right. Left. Right. Left.
CrossFit Lee Summit in lane number
Right.
8. One more good lunge across. They'll dump the worm and they will head to the finish mat. At least Summit will close it out with a second place finish in heat number 1. Less than 2 minutes to go. Joko CrossFit will head across the line, stopping their time at 7:15.
Let's go.
Dakota CrossFit Norman at 80.85. Currently leading the rest of the pack towards the finish line. 5:40, lunging their way towards the finish along with Omaha. Dakota CrossFit Norman just a few lunges away. Dakota CrossFit Norman will stop their time. 7:47. 80.85, bringing across the line at 7:53. Omaha next up to finish. We're passing 8:02 on our time clock.
Hey, great job.
With a time of 8 minutes. Omaha passing that red line, and they will head to the finish mat. Omaha riding a time of 8:18 as we approach the 30-second mark. And the folks in lane number 1 lost with 9:13, breaking across the line with less than 30 seconds to go.
Woo!
On track, rocking their way through their final handstand push-ups here with less than 20 seconds remaining. They get a chance to log any lunges with that worm to close out their Sunday afternoon. Less than 10 seconds. We're going to count it down for you, folks. Finishing up heat number 1 in 3, 2, 1. That's time. Big round of applause for all your teams on the floor all weekend long. Giving it everything they had. T-Town setting the time to be going into heat number 2 at 6:24.
10 teams set to close out their weekend, and it includes one of the hard-charging teams' 8th day gym in lane number 6. But one team, we talk about this crowd and how great it has been. They definitely traveled well, and that's CrossFit Hendersonville.
So nice to be close to home. Hendersonville CrossFit is only 23 miles away from the venue, so they're all sleeping in their own beds. What a bonus that is.
And that crowd has been here all weekend long. They've been very loud as well. Wanted to give a tip of the cap to them. A team that did well in event number 5 earlier today. 6th place finish there for Stay Strong.
6th place, yeah, that was a great event 5 for them. Let's hope that they can keep that momentum going here.
10 seconds. Athletes stand by.
9 minutes of work remains for our teams here in heat number 2 before they can celebrate the end of their regional campaign as we're underway starting on 144 handstand push-ups.
Oh, just 144 handstand push-ups, but really what we're looking for here to win this event, choreograph your transitions on handstand push-ups. The athletes need to rotate clockwise, and one person has to remain in that static handstand hold, and they can't change the order of their athletes. So they've got to make sure that they finish strong on the lunges as well. Just suck it up, get the work done.
Quick changes here, and on the day of the Indy 500, we got pit stop-like maneuvering, working through these handstand push-ups, and it's bad for the person on the handstand push-ups, but how bad is it for the person that's having to wait?
That's actually the roughest part because you're upside down, you're fatiguing your shoulders just sitting there, and then when they rotate, they're going to rotate clockwise. So the person who's being upside down is now going to have to do the work of handstand push-ups. So it's one of these sinister little movements that coaches throw into events.
For more on this sinister movement, we go to Mike Arsenault.
Rob, I have a question for you. Over the last 2 weeks, I've talked to a number of teams of how they approach event number 6 here, and a lot of them have set reps that they want to do on the handstand push-ups. However, with the last event of the weekend and you want to finish as high as possible on the leaderboard, how close do you push to the red line? Because of course, if you go to failure on handstand push-ups, you can't really get them back. So what's your advice on how close you push it to the red line?
Well, Mike, that's a great question. You need to avoid red line. You can't get anywhere near it. But the good thing is that after you've been in that the static position and then you do the handstands themselves, you have 2 positions to rest. So you actually have some refresh time there. And I think that teams, I'm sure they've played around with this to see what that magic number is where each athlete can move in and out efficiently.
One thing to keep in mind here is the box is on the ground. The palms have to stay within that box. Fingers can cross it. Once the palm starts going over that line, it's a no rep.
What we're looking for is full extension. You want arms completely locked at the elbows and shoulders. You want the heels in contact with the wall. Those are the things that we're looking for a good rep. Brandon, you notice there the big kick from Triple Crown CrossFit, just looking at how hard she's kicking out of the bottom. She brings those knees down into a little bit of a tuck and then fires those legs up. That brings the momentum so that she just has to finish with her upper body. So we use the hip and the big muscles to do most of the work, and then we finish with the small muscles in the shoulders.
3 minutes in, we saw the first team make their way to the warm lunge in heat number 1 at 3.5 minutes. See if anybody can keep that pace. Don't see any judges' hands up in the air yet. Does that indicate the final 5? And as I say that, in lane number 1, Coda CrossFit, and lane number 6, 8th Day Gym, they will make their way down towards the warm, right in line with the event leading pace. Time to beat here, 6:24.98 by T-Town in our opening heat.
Brandon, they all have the worm on the same shoulder. They're all taking steps with the same side. And usually on the team, there's one person who's calling out which leg they're going to step with so that everybody stays synchronized.
Day Gym pulling level. We'll go 72 feet down one lane and 72 feet back. Coda's going to drop the worm. That'll give 8th Day Gym some daylight out in the lead. Back athlete has to have both feet over that red line.
For a good rep to count, Brandon, we're looking at all the knees for each athlete. The knee on the back knee has to touch the ground. They have to reach full extension, so completely locked out up at the top. And that's how every rep is counted here.
So 72 feet remaining in the back half of this event. They've already completed 144 handstand push-ups as a team. Now all together, they'll be working on this 144-foot worm lunge. The sections on that worm alternating from 100 pounds to 70 pounds. About 30 feet remaining for 8th Day Gym, who is 27th place after day number 1. A 3rd, a 10th, and a 17th since then. And they're putting the finishing touches on what would be the top time with 1 heat remaining. What a final 2 days for the team out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. New event leader, 8th Day Gym, 5:37. And keep that time in mind when it comes to our final heat. Coda CrossFit, next finishers, team out of Oklahoma City. They'll be in right at the 6-minute mark at 6:01.
You can see in lane 3 they had to set it down with just a handful of steps left, and that could be so costly. You really want to try to get across the floor, set it down only once, make the turn, and then come all the way back unbroken.
Declaration CrossFit, lane number 3 will be our next finisher. 6 minutes, 29 seconds. Triple Crown CrossFit in at 6:36. Drop! CrossFit. Nice weekend for them. They came into this event 16th right around the midway point, but they have had a top 5 finish as well as Hendersonville. And their large group that traveled with them, be our 6th finisher in the heat.
Right. Forward.
Stay strong, CrossFit. 7 minutes, 17 seconds. There's 3 teams remaining.
You can see the difference in the height there and how much weight the two guys are carrying, because the girl in the middle, she's not carrying a whole lot. The two guys' shoulders were that much higher.
Tracks pack in about 90 seconds until our 9-minute time cap, and we're going to have both of our teams in a foot race to close it out. Give that to Grandview unofficially over Maven by 0.02 of a second as we close out heat number 2. And we will have a new top time going into our final heat of team competition, and that's set by 8th Day Gym at 5 minutes and 37.58 seconds.
Brandon, the handstand push-ups were really key. The fastest teams were able to rotate through and avoid that fatigue factor that we mentioned earlier. You want to try to keep somebody who's fresh doing those handstand push-ups, and then it comes down to the worm lunges, trying to make just one drop, getting across the finish line with just that one transition drop.
It was very smooth start to finish for 8th Day Gym, a team that has had a very impressive final 2 days, and they lead the way going into our last heat as they set that new top time, 5 minutes, 37.58 seconds, with our last heat coming up next. Teams that'll need to do some work includes 417. They enter this in 3rd. They'll be in lane number 3. Mayhem Independence in 4th in lane 7. But our team on the bubble needing an 8th or better to clinch a spot, CrossFit Kilo in lane 3.
With an event 5 placement of 5th place, we hope that they can keep that pressure going forward.
Now, if they falter, CrossFit Alpha Dog with the win and some help might find themselves moving into the top 5.
Just 34 points back, they still have a shot.
These two teams next to each other, so they'll be able to keep an eye on each other. The problem for Alpha Dog is that they're going to need some help, and that happens after what happened in event number 2 to close out the opening day. A 15th place finish is the thing that's really holding them back at this point.
10 seconds. Athletes stand by.
Final event, final heat underway of our team competition. The time to beat, 5 minutes, 37.58 seconds.
And Brandon, what we're looking for here early is to avoid fatigue on these handstand push-ups and choreograph your transitions. You need to be well choreographed, moving clockwise from space to space. And then once you get to the worm, you've got to suck it up on the lunges. You can't afford any drops.
Mayhem Freedom, our points leaders. For them to clinch the regional championship, they'll need a 9th place finish or better in this event. And all they've done in the first 5 are second, first, and first. Here's Kilo, who's working on the handstand push-ups. For an update there, we go to Mike Arsenault.
Kilo finished 5th in event number 5. I spoke to the coach this morning. He expected good things for them in event number 5, but better things here in event number 6 because of their strength on the handstand push-ups. So Rob, we've been talking in the previous heats that you don't want to go to failure. However, CrossFit Alpha Dog has to win this and put enough distance between them and Kilo. So in this situation, do they go for failure? If they blow up, well, they're not going to the CrossFit Games, but if they don't get first place, they're not going either.
That's a tricky one, Mike, because if you hit failure, if you get to that point, you're not doing your team any favors. So you need to pick the person who's the best at the handstand push-ups, who's going to give you the most volume right off the bat. And I think from that point forward, every athlete has to know their own personal limitations and go as hard as they can right before hitting redline.
See a bit of a stumble there for Alpha Dog with the male athlete working on the handstand push-ups, now getting a no rep. Now, one team that doesn't have to worry about clinching a spot in the top 5, because that's already done, is Mayhem Freedom. They just need to get to the minimum work requirements, but for the regional championship, again, 9th or better.
What we're looking at on the right-hand side, so tight. You can see how his legs and his feet stay close together. That's all really organized. He's not losing any power. He's using the hips to turn over and just finishing with a strong press at the very top.
Now, if Mayhem Freedom has a big struggle, the team that could capitalize in terms of that regional title is OC3 Black. They're another team, though, that's already clinched the spot in the games with the minimum work.
They've looked great all weekend, really consistent, hanging with the big dogs.
Very, very quietly this weekend is our third place team, CrossFit 417, who have been incredibly consistent and almost flown under the radar.
Fifth, fourth. I mean, you talk about consistency in a field of amazing teams. Great performance by 417.
Just a little bit of a disservice how little we've been able to talk about them. It's just been kind of hovering around that fifth spot all weekend long in these events. Also in a solid position entering this event, they need a 22nd or better in this one. Mayhem Independent sitting in fourth. But the foot race is on for a couple of teams, and it's Mayhem Freedom in lane number 5, and then lane number 9, CrossFit 8035, making the break to the worm. This at the 3:15 mark, ahead of the leading pace of 8th day CrossFit, 5:37. It's their time to beat. Mayhem Freedom of William Barber leading the way on the worm.
Black, right there as well. Long way to go on this episode.
They are level with 8035, and on our race around the 5th position, both Alphadog and Kilo working on the handstand push-ups, and it's Alphadog that's going to make a break away from Kilo. Alphadog needs to make a charge with this worm. 72 feet down, 72 feet back. As Kilo continuing to work on the handstand push-ups and having to make a switch, they are losing a ton of ground, and suddenly this race is opened up for the 5th spot. Here they go, and they're going to need to go frantically to make their way through as 8035 and Mayhem Freedom lead the way in the field. Alphadog is already halfway through their first length of the floor. Alphadog in the purple shorts, lane number 2, and it's a no rep for Kilo, who's trying to do a little too much, trying to make good ground. Alphadog on the right, Kilo on the left. The problem for Alphadog at this point is while they're moving, there are teams ahead of them, and they need to make up a lot of ground. The heat leaders, Mayhem Freedom and 8035, have already made the turnaround. They are halfway down the floor, but the race is here for the 5th and final qualifying spot. Both feet of the back athlete have to clear the red line. One lunge ago, his heel was still on it, so they had to do an extra lunge. Turnaround point for Alphadog. They're in position to pass a few teams on the floor as CrossFit Mayhem Freedom is putting the finishing touches on yet another event win. It'll be 3 consecutive, 4 overall in the weekend, and it's going to be yet another regional championship for the 4th consecutive year for them. Now back to the race for 5th as Alphadog is already making their way halfway through. They have passed 2 teams in the past 30 seconds as Kilo is just now the turnaround point. Kilo is going to have to hold off OC3 Black, who also struggled on the handstand push-ups, and they are closing in on Kilo as our 6th place team entering this event has made a pass of a couple of teams with this worm during the lunge. There will be several times that become a factor as well for our first 2 heats as Alphadog, the team out of Lombard, Illinois, is making their way across the red line. Looks like 1 or 2 lunges remaining. They'll have to do 1 more. And now Alphadog waits. 6-12, 5th in the heat. Again, there's going to be several times that become a factor. Once you get out of the top 10, it's 2 points for every position in our scoring intervals. Kilo continuing to move as they have been passed by OC3 Black. Next finisher is going to be CrossFit Mayhem Independence, and then Kilo 2 is going to finish ahead of them. There's more and more positions, more and more time that is going by CrossFit Kilo. And coming into this, it almost looked like they were in a solid position, 34 points up, and now they have to wait and see if they could hold off Alphadog. 10th and dead last in the heat for CrossFit Kilo, and that is disaster perhaps for them.
You can see the look on his face. He knows it too. They gave it away on the lunges.
So for Kilo, they needed 8th or better in the event, not just the heat. They couldn't pull 8th or better in this heat alone. And again, there will be several times that factor in from our first 2 heats.
And CrossFit Kilo on the handstand push-ups came out really, really strong. One of their male athletes is on the shorter side, looks really, really powerful. But we can see Alphadog, they made steady, consistent work, and side by side, they came off the wall far different times. Alphadog was way quicker off the wall and to the worm. Their lead on the lunges was just bigger and bigger, and they ran away with it from CrossFit Kilo.
Now, Alphadog was the 7th team to get to the lunges, but they made a few passes out there on the floor.
Very impressive finish with the lunges. There was no mistakes whatsoever. They kept the worm all the way on their shoulder, going down. One drop, turned around, came all the way back. But CrossFit Kilo lost valuable positions at the end. It seemed like they had a lot of bobbles on that last 72 feet of lunges.
So our event results, it's CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. By the way, just 5 seconds off the event record. They take yet another event, their 4th win. But the important story, CrossFit Alpha Dog, you see them in the number 7 spot, which unofficially gets them 72 points. And we're crunching the numbers, trying to get the times in on everybody. But you don't see in the top 10 is CrossFit Kilo, as it looks like that's going to be about a 15th place finish. They're going to be in the middle of the pack as we wait and see what the official times are.
That's one of those events that you watch slip away from you, and you know how hard it is and how hard you've worked all weekend to stay at or near the top. And in one event, in just one exercise really on those lunges, you can pay the price.
Both of these teams have been in the top 10 in 4 of the first 5 events. For Kilo, the one outside was in event number 4 where they finished 12th. For Alphadog, it was event number 2 where they finished 15th. Both those events utilizing the worm, and the worm might be the ultimate difference maker, as we might be seeing a point or 2 or 3 separating these two teams for 5th and 6th at the end of the weekend.
It's an interesting spot as an athlete to be in, because you know that your weekend is over. There's nothing else for you to do. Now you have to sit back and see how your scores hold up. And that tension in the belly, man, that's you can almost feel it.
CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. One thing we do know, they will be our Central Regional champions for a 4th consecutive year. And they can start planning for Madison and a few tough challengers that they're going to have this year with this new team format.
They look so consistent, steady, poised, so much experience on that team. Never ever looked like anything got out of control.
And all smiles, they can breathe those sighs of relief, as it looks like they might be sending 2 teams to the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games with Freedom and Independence. And in the movie Armageddon, it didn't go so well for Independence. For real life here in this regional, it went well for both teams. So Kilo in the green shirts, Alphadog in the purple shirts. it's no surprise that they were in this mix for those 5 qualifying spots, as they're going to be surrounding that cut line. For Alphadog, they were 11th in the world coming out of the Open. All 4 of their members in the top 53 in the North Central region. For Kilo, they're a 4-time former Games team, as they were 53rd in the world coming out of the Open. So these are 2 very solid teams that we're expecting to be in this type of position, even though they might not have wanted it to be this close surrounding the cut line.
Well, we heard from Mike earlier about Armin McCormick and how he programs for both gyms of the Kilo gyms. And I look back at his stats, and he's got a wealth of games experience going all the way back to 2012.
Still waiting on our official results. They want to make sure that they get everything right, especially with how close this finish seems to be turning out between Alphadog and Kilo for that 5th and final qualifying position. As 4 teams really separated themselves from the rest of the pack, leaving it for that 1-team race for those spots. So Mayhem Freedom, Mayhem Independence, both doing what they need to do in this event. One team that also did what they needed to do all weekend long, OC3 Black, the top team in the world coming out of the Open.
Yeah, with a worst place finish in the Open of 9th, and that was in event 1. They just had their heads down all weekend long. Never made a big fuss about anything, just got the work done.
And very quietly, this is one of those top teams in the world, not just in the Open this year, but over the past few years. Keep in mind, they finished in the top 10 the last couple of years at the Games. 9th 1 year ago, they were 5th in 2016.
I love teams like that. I love athletes like that just, they don't make a big fuss about any of it. It's not a big production. We're just going to go out there, we're going to do our job, we're going to walk off the field.
So we continue to wait on our final results. This amount of time is just making it more and more nerve-wracking. One team, we're talking about the teams that did well this weekend. How about this? 6 events, 6 top 5s, it appears, for CrossFit 417.
Another team that's just really consistent across the board, strong, put themselves in a great position.
I believe we are getting pretty close to the announcement, as there's that buzz that's starting to fill here at the Music City Center in this tremendous crowd that has been here all weekend long. They're getting treated to really what's turning out to be one of the closest finishes we'll have for that final qualifying spot in our team competition. And let's go and find out who our 5 teams will be that go to the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived. First of all, big round of applause for all of our athletes in our team division. A tremendous competition all weekend long. It has come down to this. There are only 5 qualifying spots for the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. Starting with our top qualifying team, going to the CrossFit Games. In first place, CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. qualifying for the second place position. Right on their heels all weekend long, OC3 Black. Qualifying in the third place position. Going to the CrossFit Games, CrossFit 417. Qualifying for the fourth place position. Going to the CrossFit Games, CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. There is one spot left, one remaining spot to go to the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. Qualifying in fifth place and going to the CrossFit Games, CrossFit Kilo. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, big round of applause for all your competitors and a big round of applause for your top 5 teams.
12 points, the difference for that fifth and final spot for CrossFit Kilo over CrossFit Alpha Dog. They needed 8th or better to clinch, and it turns out 15th was enough.
What a great finish for them. It's so great to see them qualify and make their way to Madison, Wisconsin for the 2018 CrossFit Games.
And technically, all 5 teams are going back to the games. They're all past games teams, if you want to throw Mayhem Independence in there, as Mayhem will in fact be sending 2 teams to the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, as Mayhem Independence finishing 4th, 417, 5th, 5th, 4th, 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 and 5th throughout the weekend. Very quietly impressive. They'll be 3rd, OC3 Black in 2nd, and Mayhem Freedom out of a possible 600 points, 4 firsts and 2 seconds to take the title here in Central Regional in very, very impressive fashion.
It was impressive indeed, Brandon. From start to finish, CrossFit Mayhem Freedom just laid the smackdown on everybody in the field. It was fun to watch, amazing, exciting, and I was just glad to be a part of it.
And as we shift from that 6-person team to 4-person team, the result stays the same for Mayhem Freedom, and now these 5 teams can focus and prep for what they're going to be facing in Madison.
In Madison, Wisconsin.
And one of the teams doing that will be Mayhem, as they send 2 to the games, and they're with Mike Arsenault.
What a performance this weekend by both CrossFit Mayhem Freedom and Independence. The only thing we're missing is I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith over the loudspeakers to really tie this all together. Rich, for Mayhem Freedom, this is the 4th consecutive regional win. What does it mean that you're able to do this both as a 6-person team and now as a 4-person team?
I think it's just as rewarding. It's fun. We had a blast. It's cool to be able to share it with these guys too. So fun, I guess, a great weekend.
So Ellie, you've been a part of CrossFit Mayhem Freedom as a member of the 6-person teams. Now you're leading Team Independence now that we're down to 4 people. So what does it mean for you? What is the difference in winning the past couple of years and now qualifying with 3 new teammates this year?
Well, if you haven't noticed from the crowd and the group we're with, it's kind of like going on a big family vacation wherever you go. So that's kind of how this group is. And being on both sides has been equally rewarding. And now we get to bring even more people. So let the vacation continue.
As we look ahead to the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games in Madison, what will be the training focus of both Freedom and Independence? Is it more individual-based workouts, or you'll continue to put even more team-based workouts into the training over the next 6 to 8 weeks?
I think it's the same thing we've been doing, training a lot of individual stuff, but a lot of team stuff at the same time. It will be like we're training as one team, just the way we have the entire time.
Thanks, Rich. Let's hear it for CrossFit Mayhem Freedom and Independence.
So it's a regional title in a very, very rare moment that we're seeing 2 teams from 1 gym actually advance to the CrossFit Games, and they'll do so in Madison this season. So that puts a finishing touch on our team competition, but it's time to close out our individual side, and that's coming up a little bit later.